Namaskar. A very good evening to the world. A very good morning to the eastern part of the world. Good afternoon. Good about to be good night. But तब तक हमारी story सुन लीजिएगा. So this is Himangi Arora Mishra, Speak Up in Empire President India. I'm here right in front of you again this Sunday evening from India with two of my dear storytellers, Adhyan and Shefali Chopra ma'am. We are here again with another extract from Mahabharata. Mahabharata, as we all know, is an epic that is the insight to many of the questions that are going on in our heads. So, what we thought few weeks before that we should bring the insight from Mahabharata to this world with one very learned and experienced educator, educationist, a storyteller, and another an explorer, a student, an ardent learner together on a platform where they both can bring two different time zones from a different era towards the present and display the plethora of the world of stories. So here we are today again with another story. I have a very beautiful narrator, Adhyan, and of course, our dear Shifalima. So I actually told, or this time or this day, I would love to, give a question. We'll start with a question this time for a change. This is the time when the learners are learning, the educators are also learning, and we are trying to learn together. Have you ever analyzed that what is the parameter of learning? How much is learned? How much is required? And how will you test? Everybody is scared. I'm sure you are also scared of test. I was also when I used to give. Even today, if somebody asks me to give test or take a test, I'll be like, oh my god, अच्छा सब कुछ brush up करते जल्दी से. So let's hear from the storyteller कि टेस्ट की सिग्निफिकेंस क्या होती है, जो टेस्ट देता है उसके दिमाग में क्या चलता है और जो टेस्ट अटेम्प्ट कर रहा होता है उसके दिमाग में क्या चलता है. So I open the platform of the world of stories. The door is open, and our dear Adhyan is going to narrate the story today. So welcome Adhyan, and welcome Shifali ma'am.
Thank you.
So Adhyan, before we go ahead on our platform, I would request you to bring up the narration so that we can just come up with the insights quickly.
Yeah. So, hello everyone. Namaste. Welcome to yet another interesting story from the epic Mahabharata. Today's story revolves around choices. Often, we are presented with challenging situations that push us to make a choice. Choice to face the challenge and fix it, or choice to escape the situation by moving away from it. So let's begin with today's story. Mahabharata is a tale of rivalry between the cousin brothers Kauravas and Pandavas. All of them spent their childhood learning warcraft from their guru Dronacharya. One day, Dronacharya took all the cousins near a riverbed. While the children got busy playing the near riverbed, Dronacharya went inside the river for a quick bath. That's when a catastrophe struck. Yes, as Drona took bath in the river, a crocodile emerged on the river surface and pounced on Drona's leg. Drona was taken by surprise and trauma. He felt severe pain from his bleeding leg. Drona shouted for help. Upon learning Drona's cries, the Kauravas and Pandavas got alarmed and ran towards Drona. However, when they saw Drona being attacked by a large crocodile, they got shocked. None of them had ever encountered such a panic situation. They all idealized Drona, whose life was in danger right in front of them. Drona shouted, Duryodhan, help! Arjun, help! Hearing his name, Duryodhan got confused as he didn't know what to do. If he got into the river, the crocodile might drag him as well. Fearing for his life, Duryodhan took his brothers and ran from there in search of help. Meanwhile, Arjuna, who couldn't see his guru in pain, took out his arrow and shot at the crocodile, leaving his mouth wide open. Subsequently, Drona got relieved and was saved. Drona hugged Arjun and thanked him for saving his life. He told Arjuna, Son, you are a life savior for me. To which Arjun replied, Gurudev, it was my duty to save life in distress. This is what I have learned from you. Drona felt so proud. In the meantime, Duryodhan, with his brothers, returned to the riverside. As he realized Drona being saved by Arjun, he started justifying his escapist act. He told Drona, Ah, Gurudev, I am glad you are safe and sound. You know, I ran miles looking for help, but couldn't find one. Drona understood Duryodhan's intent and replied, Son, it's not your concern for me, but your own ego that is driving you. Remember, your ego will not let you see things clearly and face challenges in life. Duryodhan got embarrassed and left. That's the end of the story. A story that taught us to face fears and use discretion to exercise our choice for a positive outcome. Thank you.
Amazing. Beautiful. Adhin, the story in itself has so much of insight. I'm glad that you brought this extract from Mahabharata, and I'm glad that a student like you has brought another story of a student. I would like to question you today first, asking that you said that Duryodhan had the escapist approach and Arjun preferred to take action. Have you come across any situation ever where you had to choose between an escape or to take a stand or an action?
Uh,
If yes,
well,
then you can share an instance if you want.
not really, I can say, but I think most of these challenging situations in our life have two options: escape or work towards it and defeat it. And
So, what do you prefer?
I think the second option is must. Although everyone has their own set of mind, which we have talked in our one of our previous sessions. So I think challenges make you strong and learn something. Although they have some negative impact, some side effects, and you feel pain, embarrassed, and etc. But they leave something with you, a takeaway, which you can use in another challenging situation and defeat it. So I think you should challenge every situation, not change the situation. And that's my take.
Amazing. Again,
What I find beautiful is Himangi, how beautiful does he present it? And Adhyan, you make everything sound so easy, and I love it. This only shows how intelligent is our generation. The coming
correct.
generation is so intelligent. They are so focused. I mean, there is no two ways about it, and I love it.
Thank you, ma'am.
I'm sure each and every person who listens to him feels the same because the kind of wisdom he shares and prevails, that is something which actually gives us hope towards the fact that yes, the generation that we have, if nurtured properly,
Yeah.
have much more to present, Okay, with that, Shefali ma'am, I know that you're a mother, an educationist, obviously the storyteller. I would like you to give a brief about the insight of the entire story, then I'll bring up more questions.
First of all, when Adyan spoke, I think it is these kids today have so much wisdom in them. They just know it all. I mean, we can only learn from them. And there is no shame to learn. We all learn, we relearn, we all correct ourselves all the time. The story today was interesting. What was interesting was when Adyan talked about ego, and he spoke about being, somehow I feel the story also talks about being in the present, in sense like when Arjun took step, he only thought of present, he didn't think of anything else. He didn't think if it's going to get him good marks or is he going to be good in front of his teacher. He didn't think like that, he just acted. And at the end of the day, that is what really matters, action. That matters the most. A lot of times people plan things, but they never work. As some time back, Adyan said, life has different kind of challenges for everybody. What do? There are going to be storms in people's lives. It is bound to happen. We're all human beings. There are going to be ups and there are going to be downs. But then the thing is, how do you emerge as a better being? Purely by going through it. It's the process. It is the journey that you're going to enjoy. It is not the destination. And that is what we really need to focus on. Not the destination, but yes, the journey of life. It is going to swing us, with a lot of things which we may not like. Situations are going to happen, but we just have to face it. And about ego is what I have to say is, some kind of ego everybody has. But then what is important is it good ego or is it not so good ego? The ego, which is a good ego, is good for everyone, personally. But the ego which is bad, it creates so much toxicity. We don't even realize. People become manipulative. People uh, try to present something which is completely not true, just to be in good books of somebody else. And that is what we should refrain from. That is my take on this, Himangi. That's exactly what I felt when I heard the story, when Adin narrated it to us.
I think I think this is the best thing that happened. Okay, we missed the system. Anyways, I think thank you so very much, ma'am, where you said that, the story talked about ego. Yes, the story talked about ego, but with that, I found another aspect where a student was pretty submissive. I'm talking about Arjun, where he didn't, even after um, the Dronacharya told him, it was just because I wanted to check you, and he knew somehow that he was asked to face a situation. He didn't question. A lot many times our students ask, why do we need to give examinations? Why do we need to give tests? Why do we need to take up so many tests? क्यों? हमें ये क्यों करना होता है? So I found that the child or the learner was very insightful when he thought that he has to take the action. And he brought that very wisdom into his action and he acted, he won, and then he learned to be humble, to take it with grace. I just want to ask you, ma'am, if a child doesn't know how to be humble, what should a teacher do?
First of
Because
all,
that is, yeah,
I'm
sure.
sorry, I'm butting in. But first thing that comes to my mind is Arjun was the way he was. You know why? Because he trusted
Yes.
in his teacher, in the educator. That trust has to be built, and trust is individual. It is not generic. I may have 10 students, but I must have trust with each and every one. It doesn't work otherwise. It just simply doesn't work. It cannot be generic because every child or every individual is different. Adyan is different, you are different, I am different. We have to be dealt. It cannot be, yet one for all. It cannot be that. And that's the reason because Arjun just trusted Dronacharya blindly. So he was submissive. That is the reason. It's the trust factor that really counts. If you trust somebody, and in life generally, whatever he says, you will be like, all right, because he said it, blindly I will follow it without questions. But this only happens when there is that bond. That bond has to be created between a child and an educator, child and a teacher, child and a guru. And that's when you see the transformation of not only relationships, of education per se. When I trust into anybody, suppose my teacher, I realize suddenly so many doors open for me because the teacher will really know me more than I know myself. That is the difference.
So I just ask you, I'm just going to ask you a very straight question. In
Sure.
today's era, when there's so many ways to learn and to gain knowledge, how, as an educator, do you think that an educator should mentor the child, should teach the child, to learn with the child? What is the strategy to earn that trust of a child? And of course, here, because we are not in the Gurukul system, you know, every voice becomes an educator for a child. So child
Ab-
gets confused, किसको सुनना है, किसकी बात माननी है, कौन मेरे फेवर में बोल रहा है, because the relationships he is surrounded by, again, are very, important, and the educators are telling the child in a different way. So how do you suggest that this educators and the students should understand what is to be done?
Most importantly, that bond, as I said, has to be created. An educator is an educator. There are times when an educator may not have all the answers, and it's okay. And I personally feel, Himangi, somebody should step up and say, I don't know the answer. Mujhe nahi aata hai. So why not learn together? And I
Correct.
think the beauty is in learning together. Just sometime back before we opened the session, I was telling you, I don't understand whether I am getting independent or I'm making people independent, my kids. So
Right.
I think we're all getting independent. I mean, it's like we're all learning and it's okay. There is no shame. Trust me, there is no shame in saying, I don't know it. Let's learn it together. As a
Right.
teacher, I may not have all the answers, but as a human being, if I'm upfront and I say, oh, bache, I don't know the answer, I really don't know how to go about it, can we both look for the answers together? And believe you me, the child will say, oh, wow, this is so cool. My teacher doesn't know it. And let's find the answers together. And the equation changes. And when the equation changes, the bond changes. And when the bond changes, the learning happens in a different way.
Beautiful. And I'm glad that you said it, ma'am, because I have been on both sides, being a student, being a learner, being an educator, and of course being a third party when I was looking at an educator and a student. I have always seen this, we have a particular mindset, as Adhan stated, that we have different mindsets. I have seen when as an educator, when you're saying, that okay, let's find out the answers together. We we are very positive to say that, but a lot many times the other side of the story comes where they say, oh, you are a teacher, you don't know the answer, you actually don't know the answer. So that is a question mark. So anyways, we're not getting there. I would like to ask Adhin on this. Adhin,
But
have you come across a situation? Yeah, sure, ma'am.
one second, Himangi. I think you raised a very beautiful point. It's just like, like when doctors fall in, okay? People go, Are, you're a doctor and you've fallen sick, you're not well, you I mean, isn't it? And then when suddenly you open your mind, I'm like, excuse me, we are human beings
Human
first.
beings. Very true. Very true. So then I'm coming to you with another question where I would like to know about you as a learner. Have you ever met or come across a situation where you have got in a, got stuck, and you have to decide whom to believe or whom to follow. Because as a student, obviously you come across different situations, marks भी लाने हैं, पढ़ना भी है, different activities भी करनी है. कोई कह रहा है आप अच्छा कर सकते हो, कोई कह रहा है आप अच्छा नहीं कर सकते हो, ये अच्छा नहीं है, ये important नहीं है. उस situation में what goes in your head as a student? What do you do?
Yeah, actually, the situation which you talked about, I think I go through this every time. This, and I think, and I think every student goes through this every time. I mean, we have parents, a mother and a father. There are two parents. So maybe someone has another expectation. Someone is expecting more. Someone is expecting less. Someone is okay, these are okay school. Someone thinks it is good. Someone thinks it's a disappointing school. But I think the best judge is yourself. We can judge. Let's put our targets and achieve our targets. We should prove, which we are not here to prove to someone else. We should prove ourselves in front of us. So I think the judgment, the very true judgment is provided by the inherent strength. And I do these, I always come through this situation, so I do this.
So you are a master of this, overcoming this challenge. So I'm glad to hear that, beta, because I think this is the answer to lot many questions in life, that who to trust. Because yes, and here I have another insight on this, which I would like to share. I would definitely not ask a blacksmith how to cast a particular gold ornament, and I cannot go to a doctor to create a diamond. I would definitely not go to an engineer to get medicine.
True.
So, it is very important in life to identify the mentor who can genuinely evaluate and set right expectations. As you said, people have different expectations, people have different opinions, and people being people, as Shefali ma'am always say, people as human beings have different weaknesses and strengths, and they like to reflect the same way. So it's very important for, like, I'm talking in generic, because we always comes in a situation where we find ourselves to be learners. So when somebody is putting all the energy in carving you as a individual or as an individual, it's very important to trust that strength and the energy that the person who's carving has actually put in, because he or she will be the first one to be disappointed or sad if the thing or the individual or the structure he or she was putting all the energy has lost the shape. So it's very very important for a learner to have that trust. As Shifali ma'am said, that bond needs to be trusted. So I think this is the most important aspect of the story. And now coming back to the arrogance, the ego, as we always come in situation where we feel ourselves confident, and there is a very meek line between a confident and an ill confident, and an confident and an overconfident child. So then, have you ever been in a situation where sometimes you felt really ill confident, and then other time you couldn't manage, and just overcome the confident zone and you landed to the overconfident zone? And what was the consequence if it happened?
Well, this has happened. I can't say specifically underconfidence or overconfidence, but it has happened me with many times when I expected something to be very good and it was, I mean, not that good. And sometimes I underestimated and it was a very good outcome. So I think we should never underestimate ourselves, but we should never think that we are perfect also. We should just feel our strengths and weaknesses and work on the weaknesses and maintain the strengths. And that's my take.
This is good, but I would like to hear from you, Adhin, as a student. How do you do this? We should do this is fine. How do you do this? How do you, find yourself in that situation, and you actually identify that, okay, now this is not something which I'm not going to do.
Well, I can't specifically say that, but how I do this, how I maintain the strengths and overcome the weaknesses, it's a simple two words: self assessment. Like I previously said in my previous answers, that we are the best judge to ourselves. So we should assess ourselves. We should set targets and meet them. So we can learn about our weaknesses and strengths, and we may get disappointment. That's a human nature, but we should never take failure to our heart, and we should work again. You will fail twice, thrice, but you will succeed one day.
So, Shifali ma'am, I'll take this extension and I'll just ask, put an add on to it. If Arjun would have not been able to place that arrow rightly, the intentions were right, but couldn't meet the expectation. As Adhin said, sometimes we overestimate or underestimate ourselves. What should a child do in that situation? Are the decisions wrong, or the decisions should not be made? What is that kind of, quality, and how do we develop it?
Himangi, we have to do our karma. We have to take actions that we cannot escape. It does not matter. You may pass, you may fail. It's okay. Nobody is going to judge you. And actually, forget nobody else. You should not just think, oh my God, I failed. I think your focus should be, oh my God, I tried. Try and try again. कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती. That's the reason they always say don't quit. Keep trying. There are times you are going to fail. It is going to happen. There is nobody with that success rate all the time. It's not happening. It only means if there is success rate all the time, that means you haven't lived life. You are definitely going to fall down, but what do you learn from a child? What do you learn? When there are babies, if they thought, oh my God, we're going to fall, and oh my God, we won't walk, they'll never walk. Child
Okay,
doesn't.
I'll just like to ask this with reference to the story.
Hmm.
Arjun decided to take the arrow out and, just shoot. Duryodhan thought of bringing the help from somebody else. So he did his karma, the other one did his karma.
Yeah. So
I would like to understand that what was right. Like, obviously, this is a story which was there in the epic. If such situation comes where we find ourselves, not relevant or significant enough in for that very situation, and we go and try to seek some help, is it wrong?
no, it's not wrong because Arjun did his karma and Duryodhan did his. It's okay. You may have one goal to reach, and everybody may have a different plan. I may be sticking to plan A, somebody else might be sticking to plan D. They may succeed, they may not succeed. It's okay. So you cannot judge people really by the way they behave, because to me it might differ, to somebody else it might be completely different, and I think it's okay. So I think personally, after hearing the story, is that Arjun was right in his own way, but Duryodhan, because he thought asking for help is the way to go, and it was okay for him. But of course, in the eventuality, obviously Arjun won because he hit the crocodile, and things got resolved. But both took actions in their own way. There is no right, there is no wrong. There's nothing called black and white. There's always shades of gray, and you know that in life as
And
well.
and that is what Mahabharata has taught us in every instance. That is what I
Absolutely.
believe. Important is to take action. Important is to take the right action. And we are nowhere to judge any of the ones who are taking actions, or to judge anybody else. Because हम वही करते हैं जो हमें उस पर्टिकुलर मोमेंट पे ठीक लगता है. And everybody tries to, bring out the best in that very moment. तो जो
Absolutely
सबसे अप्रोप्रिएट होता है हम वही स्टेप उठाते हैं. सो लाइफ में भी अगर हमें कभी लगता है कि उसका ये डिसीजन ठीक नहीं था, उसके लिए वही बेस्ट डिसीजन था, एंड दैट इज द रीजन उसने वो चीज की. बट वेयर टू लर्न, व्हाट टू लर्न फ्रॉम दिस, कैपेबिलिटीज को इनेबल करना है so that I can have the confidence to take the action at the moment. अगर मुझे इस बात पे डाउट है कि मैं तीर चलाऊंगा, लगेगा या नहीं, तो शायद मैं तीर नहीं उठाता.
true.
लेकिन अर्जुन को वो डाउट नहीं था, क्योंकि उसे अपनी लर्निंग पे डाउट नहीं था, उसे अपनी प्रैक्टिस पे डाउट नहीं था, उसे अपने एजुकेटर पे, अपने गुरु पे डाउट नहीं था, बिकॉज ही एक्चुअली लर्नड फ्रॉम the practice or the effort that was put in. But Duryodhan had the point of doubt. Maybe मैं fight नहीं कर पाऊंगा. And that's where he tried to seek the help. गलत क्या था? गलत या सही तो नहीं कह सकते, ऑफ कोर्स बार बार हम यही बात कर रहे होते हैं, लेकिन ज्यादा गलत ये है कि अगर आपने परफॉर्मेंस नहीं दिया तो आप उसे जस्टिफाई कर रहे हो, आप उसे ओवरकम करने की कोशिश कर रहे हो. जब आप जस्टिफिकेशन दे रहे हो, दैट मीन्स यू हैव नॉट रियलाइज दैट यू हैव मिस्ड द अपॉर्चुनिटी टू परफॉर्म, यू हैव मिस्ड द अपॉर्चुनिटी टू लर्न, टू ब्रिंग आउट द बेस्ट. So that is where the Duryodhan, I believe Duryodhan lagged. And that is because of the fact that Arjun was humble even after performing at his best. He still maintained the humbleness. He still maintained the character. And तीर चलाया या नहीं चलाया से ज्यादा important था the character.
True.
So Adhyan, now coming back to you, I would like to ask this. I think this is a question I'm asking to the entire league of students and parents, those who are listening to us and will be listening to us. प्रैक्टिस किया, स्कोर आया, स्कोर आया, अच्छा आया तो आप एरोगेंट हो गए, स्कोर नहीं आया तो आप शाय हो गए, या फिर एक पैरामीटर के बाद आपने सिर्फ ये फोकस किया कि आपने उस पर्टिकुलर मूवमेंट से क्या लर्निंग ली और आप आगे बढ़ गए. यू हैड practiced resilience and you kept trying hard and moving ahead. How important do you think you as a student feel that you should have this quality, or only the marks matters?
Actually, the real thing is your preparedness, your knowledge, your practice. Marks are just made to test it. And I think we should not always look at the negative side or the positive side. If we have not attained our goal, but we have improved, then it should be like, okay, I improved. Now I need to work hard and achieve my goal. This should be the spirit. And I think this shouldn't be the spirit. Yeah, I improved and I'm an improved person. I'm better than all. Or I think this shouldn't be the approach also that no, I didn't achieve my goal. I think it's really bad. I'm a bad student. So I think it should be it's kind of a mixed thing. So let's have some mixed feeling and learning and move on.
Amazing. So Shefali ma'am, I would like to ask the same thing from you. What is there?
I only
What
have
is
a simple answer. No one can dance your dance. My dance is different than yours. The
amazing?
storm, the
I-
storm may be the same, but my dance is different than yours, and it justifies. That's good enough. I'm not right or I'm wrong. Neither are you. We are right in our own periphery. I took a certain decision and I went ahead. You took a certain decision and you went ahead. There is no right and there is no wrong. Actually, there is none. It's only time frame that makes it right or wrong.
So the conclusion of the story is that we need to be humble. Adyan, am
Absolutely
I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And the second thing is that we need to take actions,
true.
because that is another practice. to take actions and to take decisions. So I believe that my take of the story is that for taking right actions, I have, or rather, I should say, for taking right decisions, I have to keep taking decisions
True.
and empowering myself enough to take actions on the ground. So I think for all the students and parents, I believe the story has given a lot of insights to all of us today. And this discussion that we do in the story brings different aspects and different perspectives. So if you have another perspective, please bring it on board. And we are all live right now, and we are there to listen and hear and understand your perspective. If you have certain questions, please put up, because I have two beautiful, intelligent, intellectual people who are here to answer all the questions that we have. And with that, I will invite Adhyan to bring another question that he always project at the end of the story session. So Adhyan, go ahead, all yours.
Yeah, actually, let's start off with the fun fact. Before that, I would like to answer a question which was not answered by any of our viewers, but that's okay. Let's move on and think that again. So, next time. So, I would, the today, so I would answer the previous trivia, and my question was that a Nagraj provided Bhim a boon that had that Bhim would get a power of 10,000 elephants. And I wanted to know that why he did it. Basically, I wanted to know the relationship between Nagraj and Bhim. So, I would like to tell you a small fact within that the Nagra Bhim was the grandchild of Nagraj. Yes, he was the grandson. Kunti was the real daughter of the Nagraj. And you might have shocked. So let's move on to today's fun fact. Today's fun fact is related to this story, and we were talking in this session that uh, the test and the challenges. I would like to disclose an insight of this whole story that Dronacharya actually took a test of his children. The crocodile which attacked him was just a device, a testing device, and it was not real. So it was a test for the students. So this was my fun fact, and I would give another chance our audience to answer our previous trivia. It's not late and it's never. So thank you and take care.
Thank you so much, Adhyan, for telling us the twist and for sharing such an insightful story today. I'm sure this is one of the finest and the best stories. And here I would like to declare one more important fact. I, being the president, Speak Up and Empower India, looking forward to the league of students who are going to join us in our journey of Speak Up and Empower. So if you have something to share and to tell, please contact us. And the dear artists who are there to share some beautiful insight through their talent, please feel free to contact us. We are here to listen. We are here to open our arms to enhance our circle. I would love to have three, four, 500 storytellers on this platform, so that under the guidance of our dear storyteller, Miss Shefali Chopra, a lot of students can learn the art of storytelling. I can say it, vouch on it, that storytelling is one of the finest art to bring about the learnings and the insights from the regular day-to-day incidences. It is also one of the biggest tool that we can take up as uh, the tool, of course, the aid in the education sector, and of course in our lovely dear surroundings where we are surrounded by our loved ones, so that different tough lessons can be taught in masti, and I think in a span of 30 to 40 minutes. So Shefali ma'am, I would like you to mark the insight of storytelling today, because we are about to expand the circle of storytelling sessions from here onwards?
I have said this several times and I'll repeat myself. One story can change many lives, and that's a fact. Storytelling is not an art which is like right now, it's been there since eons. And we can only, and we learn from each other. It is not, it's not a cultural thing. It is, we share the stories of the continents, of the worlds, of all kinds of lives. I think this is a beautiful medium, and also in the education industry, this is what they should really follow. We will always forget the lesson, but we'll always remember the story, and that is what makes it beautiful, because through a story we'll always remember what the lesson really was. Stories travel, and I think this is a great way to invite people to be a part of this program. And let's travel together, holding hands. I am because we are.
Beautiful. Thank you so very much, Shefali ma'am. And here we put the closure to today's story session, and we are just about to close the doors till next Sunday. So, Adhin, we are looking forward to another story, another insightful story from your side in the coming session. And till that time, I would love you to answer to all the questions that pop up in our inboxes, in our mailboxes, you know. And I invite all the members who are willing to come on board on Speak Up and Empower India to join us. And as Shivali ma'am said, join us in the journey and travel together so that we can enjoy the journey better. So, with that, I would like to say goodbye. Have a good evening. May you have a good morning. May you have a great day. Or may you have a good night's sleep. So, wherever in the part of the world you are, keep smiling, keep shining, learn the lessons, grow, and keep moving ahead. With that, I pray you for all of you, and I pray you about the good wishes and, of course, a very good health. Thank you so very much. With that, I'll say namaskar.
Namaskar.
Namaskar.